Okay, so nobody's getting the truth from the mainstream media, folks. It's well past time to open your eyes, your ears, and your mind. Do your own research because something isn't right here. And if you can't see that, you are not paying attention, folks.
It's the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order. A world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations.
So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to zero. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to zero. Now that's back from high school algebra, but let's take a look. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
The important message that we need Australians to get vaccinated as quickly as possible. In line with that, I do encourage all Australians to please go and book your vaccinations as soon as you can if you haven't already done so.
Emma, get away!
When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
Okay, we need to stand up against this tyranny, folks. Stop giving away your freedoms and liberties, because the more you give up, the more these people will take until you have absolutely nothing left. That's their agenda.
Wow, this is getting harder and harder to get a show out, guys. I know we're late, but man, are these guys playing with us? What's going on, Caz?
Everyone, could you please share to channels, your community channels? I can't do it. So thank you.
Yeah, we have got to be right over the target, guys. All right, because like Dad said tonight, we were right up until about 5 minutes to 7. And bang, that was it. Caz is ringing up going, where are you? Well, I'm laying down here having a little bit of a snooze, thinking about, what we might talk about tonight. And, just laying with my eyes closed, and looks up and I'm gone. And we can't get back in on my computer, so I'm on Mel's. You'll tell it's a bit different. But so I got no tabs up the top, guys. We got Jackie on tonight. We're going to talk about a couple of things. But yeah, look, just what's going on out there. I got a confession to make. And it's to do with the bread and circus, guys. Okay. I have got involved with the bread and circus this year. And I've been watching the football. Okay. And if you don't know what the bread and circus is, go back to the Roman times, look it up, you'll work it out. Okay. It's what they do, guys, is they keep us amused, okay, with entertainment. So I'm confessing that I've been watching it, but it's very funny that Andrew Johns and Brad Fittler, two guys that I'm going to make aware of what's been going on with Westpac and that as well, guys. But it's very funny that they're on there, and Andrew's woken up a little bit somewhere because he's harping on about the moon landing and how it was all fake. And he's doing this on his show, right? And then it carried over. The next night I watched the rugby, which was last night. And if anyone watched it, you would have heard him bring in that the moon landing was false. All right, and his excuse is because of the flag and the gravity, no gravity, etc. But the point is, guys, they're actually talking about a false moon landing, all right, and getting away with it and bringing it into general conversation. So, to me, that was I'm just going, wow, you guys, that's crazy, but it's happening now. I haven't got the clip here. We will find it for next week, but apparently, and Caz, come in if you want, darling. Apparently, who is it?
Jackie,
Jackie, come in, darling. Holsworthy. Who was the chick that we're talking about, Caz? Kathy O'Brien, isn't it?
No, Fiona Barnett used to talk about
Fiona
what went on
Barnett.
in Holsworthy. Yeah, and
Yeah,
everyone used to
a
think
lot
she was
about it.
crazy. Yeah.
So here we are, guys. A big wig from Holsworthy has been caught with a hell of a lot of Chinese shit, child shit. I should say Chinese shit because they'll try and shut us down. But yeah, Channel 9 had it on the news tonight, guys. This is why I do keep up with them bullshit mainstream people, and I happen to watch the news of an afternoon to see what they're up to, so I can keep you good people informed. Then we got Jag getting initiated in DC. Like, guys, that's that's big to me. That's big. Okay. So, and then that brought me to something that, I'm not going to say is hidden in my phone or anything else, but that brought me back to thinking about Frazzle Drip and just how disgusting this whole thing is, guys, and just how our children have been like, absolutely manipulated, raped, pillaged, plunders, us as well, in a different way, emotionally, psychologically. They've done the same thing to us. So, yeah, it is a time for it to stop. And it just brought back a few memories to me, watching that Frazzle Drip group, just going, how could any human being do this? They were the human beings that were running the world, guys. And that's what we're up against. I heard Jackie say something earlier when we was trying to get back in. It comes through on Mel's computer, and it was something about evolution. Well, I think it's evolution, which is what we need to take out to actually get to evolution. But we got evil all around us, guys, and it is absolutely insane. But the good thing is we know about it. We got told it was going to happen, and here we are. We've got a 30%, of the people that are willing to stand. And what we got to do somehow or other here, which we've been trying to do for years, is find some unity. But again, what's going to happen? When we go to find unity, what happens? Up come the dark players, guys. You know what I mean? And this is what we got to contend with. And it's such a crucial time in where we are in Australia with the laws that we showed you they passed last night in South Australia, etc. What's coming for us, showing you what's happening in England. It's getting transferred over here as we speak, no doubt. Midnight passes through the Parliament. So, yeah, guys, pretty important show tonight, I think. But Jackie's got some things to say, and we just thought we'd bring her in here as soon as we get this date. So let's take it away, Caz, and I'm going to sit back and
Jack, did you want me to play this Benjamin Fulford clip about the clash?
Yeah, because this just backs up.
I haven't seen it. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, cool.
A faction of MI6 that is working for the Khazarian mafia. And these people are still causing a lot of trouble. And I'm going to show you two clips now, both from Australia. The first is about a large Muslim demonstration or march, and the other is a kind of, anti-patsy, an attack against this march. And if you notice the people with the banner saying we're full, fuck off, we're full, they're all wearing identical sort of black military uniforms with face covers. These are definite agent provocateur. These are not spontaneous protesters. So what we're seeing is an attempt by the Australian authorities to provoke a Muslim-Christian clash in Australia, and I say don't go for their tactics. Now,
Jack, did you want to take it from there?
Look, this is the thing. We know that so much of history is a lie. We also know that hundreds of thousands of years they have used fear, doubt, and confusion to control the people. We know for a fact there have been hundreds of false flags that have been implemented to keep the people divided. We know this, and it is always either race against race, religion against religion. So this is the thing. I mean, you've got to look at COVID. Now, everyone was sus on the whole thing. Everyone worldwide was waking up to it. So what did they do? They brought in the Black Lives Matters, all of that staged rubbish. I cannot get my head around why people cannot see we are being played. This is a psyop, a military psyop, and it is happening around the world at the same time. So you've got the governments of countries that are facilitating and perpetrating mass immigration in. The thing is, a lot of it is unfiltered, and there are a lot of criminals there. And what occurs with that? Of course, we're getting the raping of women. We've got these machete attacks, etc. So I can't speak for overseas, but here, what does our government do? They give them a slap on the wrist and let them straight out on bail again.
No, a $350,000 bin.
$325,000 for a bin that the absolute duck's guts would have cost $8,000. So, but what I'm saying, Caz, is why aren't these criminals, committing these heinous crimes? Why are they not either in jail or deported back to where they come from if they are new immigrants? And I want to stress that this will be a small percentage of the new immigrants. This is not all new immigrants. This is staged. They're turning the people against the people. They want the countries to implode. So when we say united we stand, that's exactly what that means. And we're at a point here in Australia where it is so multicultural. So we are all neighbours now. We must learn to communicate and respect each other and not fuel fires due to ignorance or being led down a path that is not correct. And this is absolutely happening with they're trying to pit Muslim against Christian. We can see that. We can see that all over Ireland and the UK, etc., where they're making it so there are these great Muslim prayers happening in the main streets of major cities, in England, Ireland, what have you. And then you've got the extreme where you've got a single Christian man who is standing silently and saying a prayer in his head, and he's thrown in jail. Really? I don't think so.
Yeah, like the comments are saying, all by design, and we know it. But the good thing about this is, guys, that we know their playbook. All right, and this is what Kazza and I have been doing for the last week. And I know it's a bit monotonous, but we're exposing. All right, not everyone sees every show, guys. This is an important event coming up. All right, and it does need a little bit of conversation out there, which, again, the art of debate's been removed from our society. All right, they've done that back in the 60s, guys, when they said, do not talk about religion and politics over the dinner table. And that started to take out the debate, and that was the start of it. These guys manipulating and pushing and using their mockingbird media. So
absolutely.
One of the things that continuously comes up, though, is that there's a very big lack of transparency, and it's very concerning at the moment because we know what the agenda is. Well, we want to know who the players are involved and what kind of things we can expect to see and hear. So I think that's one of the things that's problematic at the moment.
Yeah, look, I'm just waiting to hear back from Matt as to whether I can get up and say anything in Melbourne. But, I can understand
hang on. What? if you can get up, it is new to me. If you can get up and talk, what the
Got to
fuck?
ask the organisers. I know. Look, this is the
Who are
thing
the
I was going to say.
organisers? Who are the organisers?
I don't know. But this is the problem. That's what I was saying to Kaz. Back in the day when we were in lockdown and, you know, we weren't allowed out, things were done on the quiet and we just gather in. There was a reason why it was secretive. Not now. There is no reason to have it secret who the organisers are. And I know the main thing that they are going to be addressing is to stop mass immigration. Now, I agree with a lot of stuff that's on all of the stuff that's on the fly. You know, we've got to stand up for our country. We've got to stand up for our culture, our heritage, our way of life. We've got to stop mass immigration. We've also got to stop the government creating all of these unconstitutional acts to control us, like the Digital Online Safety Data Act. We've got to work on bloody getting rid of councils, like et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It goes on and on and on. The issues that we've got here. We've got to stop the climate change bullshit. We've got to stop our children being groomed in schools. It is never ending, the deceit. So look, let's just get it clear. Mass immigration must stop simply because our country cannot sustain the population. We've only got a very small amount of arable soil, you know, for our food. And that they are already covering that in concrete or putting solar panels over, so concrete being new housing developments. They're destroying all our land. This is the thing, so we can't sustain ourselves. We are going to have food shortages down the track if we don't all start growing stuff in our gardens. But the thing for me is the governments have facilitated all of this. So we are not to be directing our frustrations on new immigrants who are our neighbours. And as for this rubbish, I mean, Jesus, people say united we stand. They know the government's playbook, how they try and cause division and distraction. And then we have this, you know, the Muslim procession that stops and pays respect at St. Patrick's Cathedral. And because of our ignorance, I suppose, instead of, you know, looking into it, all of a sudden it's a Muslim against Christian thing, and you've got certain people taking quotes out of the Quran that are only half quotes. I advise everybody to go and have a look at Steve Garrington, Yusra's husband. He's absolutely brilliant with clarifying things. So this is definitely them trying to pit Muslim against Christian. That religious procession's been going on for 12 years. It was funded to highlight it this year. Then we go and have a look at the gathering that was there with, you know, of the Christians having to stand up for their religions. What you had to stand up for, I do not know. And, I mean, Christian principles, love thy neighbour, do unto others as you would have, do unto yourself, etc. So what's going on there?
I like Mark McDonald's comment here. He says the fact that a woman with Jackie's knowledge and passion has to get permission says a lot. It actually does. To me, it says a lot, because I know that during the COVID era, you're one that led the charge with the tip of the spear, and you gave a lot of us who were locked in and not allowed to go freaking anywhere a lot of hope.
Look, I just don't want to see this turn into pitting people pitting each other against each other because of a difference of either race or religion. So we've got to rein that in. You know,
and you got to look at it. Listen, they're bringing in bad people mixed in within, you know, reasonable people. This is their game, all right? They mix it in, guys. And what immigrant, you know, this is where it's very harsh and very hard, right, to make a judgment, because if you put yourself in their shoes, and as they're saying in India now, I'll come over to Australia, they're going to give you a grant up to this, they're going to give you housing, they're going to give you money every week, you'll get a new car, you'll get this. Would you not come? Would you not come from a country of 3 billion people? Yes, you would. Okay,
Yeah.
and this is what we've got to do. We've got to make sure that it's going through a colander, okay, and we're bringing the fluid stuff, but we're leaving the lumps, guys. Okay, we don't want the lumps, and this is what they're giving us. They're giving us a lot of lumps, all right, as they bring in people. Now, the fact is that, it's happening worldwide, but the fact is with our country, we have got enough in here, all right? They're giving out, as we've shown you, they're giving out grants up to $1 million, okay? So what immigrant would not fill out the fucking form and get on the boat, the plane, or whatever they're supplying and get the fuck over here and grab onto everything they're going to give them?
No,
It's our government,
yeah,
guys. It is our
absolutely
government.
it is. This is the thing. These people are simply seeking a better life. But we have the Australian Government Corporation that is facilitating and providing new immigrants with all kinds of incentives and benefits, while Australians are losing their homes and living in tents. And I will keep saying this. This is an IQ test and a tolerance test. So, for example, we've got the machete attacks, just a little bit too mainstream media for me to believe that it is, they are as many as there are. I have got no doubt, and I know firsthand that there have been some aggressive attacks by immigrants. But as I said, they need to be thrown in jail or they need to be deported back home. But the tolerance test is, and the IQ test is, what does Jacinta Allen do? As we just said, pays $325,000 for an $8,000 bin for machetes to be dumped into instead of locking up the criminals or deporting them. That would get rid of the issue.
But do you
Everything
know how many
they
people
do.
she's pissed off by doing that? Do you know what the general, when people are finding out about these bins out there, the general public are absolutely spewing about it, mate. They're going off their nuts. So again, they can hit all the things they want, but we're going to make it look. We're going to show the people and get it exposed of what they're doing,
Yeah.
and it's waking up more people for us, Jack. It really is.
How many bins are out there and who's got the contract will be another interesting thing to see if there's
Yeah.
any links back to, maybe it's someone's brother or sister.
Oh,
Who,
no, back to
in
Vanguard.
Parliament, I
At
mean.
the end of
Maybe,
the line, yeah.
yeah. But then you've got the other side of things where our students are struggling to be able to get into university, and you've got the government handing out $50,000 approximately to immigrant students. There was a really lovely young man, Indian, I think he was, who was just speaking
Yeah, we played
freely. Yeah, okay, speaking freely.
Yeah.
So good on him. It's a better life. That's not his fault. This is
No.
our government trying to, they are trying to incite us. This is exactly what they're trying to do. This is why I say it's a tolerance. So we're seeing this where immigrants, students are being offered money, ours are not. Then you've got our people that, have worked all their lives, they've lost their homes, there've been circumstances where blocks of land have been bought, and, maybe, I don't know how many, half a dozen to 10 people, maybe in their 60s or 70s, have gotten together and put their caravans onto a block of land because they've lost their homes. What happens then? Council comes out, throws them all off and fines them. Then you've got Jacinta Allen, I haven't seen this, but I was told, handing the keys to a brand new unit that's been built to immigrant pensioners, or anyhow, they were immigrants and they couldn't speak English. Welcome to Australia. Here's your new townhouse. Like, this is a tolerance test. If people cannot see that they are trying to pit us against each other, I will go here. This government is bankrupting this country. That is what they are doing. They are running it into the ground.
Time ago too, Jackie, I knew of an instance where there was a set of 4 units. All right, this is going back to maybe 220 or something. You know what I mean? There was an incident. There was 4 units in a complex, and some immigrants had come in, and they were to be given one of the units in this complex. Well, they wouldn't move into that unit until it was fully equipped with aircon. So they got the aircon, but not one of the other Australian residents, you know what I mean, had a chance to even get a fucking doorknob fixed. But here
Look,
we go.
yeah. It's the same thing. Look, it's being shoved in our faces. This is the thing. The government are shoving it in our faces that Australians are being neglected. They are being put under ever increasing burdens and hardships, taxes on everything. I mean, you've got your stamp duty, you've got your rates on your home, you've got your land tax, your capital gains. They're trying to take our superannuation office. What's the other one? The inheritance tax. It goes on and on and on. So this is... Sorry.
I just want to say about this comment, guys. I think it was
I can't
Lindsay
see the
Fox.
comment.
One of his private planes actually come in from Singapore the other night into Alice Springs or somewhere. So yeah, just funny that Fox's company actually got the bin contract. That's interesting. I wonder if he's brought the bins back on his Anyway, that's just an interesting. There'll be something in that. Yeah,
Look,
sorry,
the whole thing is absolutely intertwined. So actually, let me pick up where I was going to go to with that. So we had this protest with, it wasn't a protest, excuse me. It was the gathering that was highlighted this year. It was funded. So it's been going on for 12 years. So then we got, all of a sudden, it's going to be the Christians are going to stand up. I'm a Christian myself, but, you know, I love my neighbour and I do not make judgments on people, etc. So they had their gathering in retaliation of this Muslim religious procession where they paid respect, tapped their chest, nothing happened. So at this gathering, you had, no, I'm sorry, Nick Patterson, I know you say I should always call you, but, you know, Nick Patterson is standing there with Arvi because Nick said something to me when I got on a Zoom and he came on late and he said, Jackie, why didn't you call me and speak to me? You should know better. But anyhow, for what point, Nick? You in at this gathering with Arvi, you've targeted a tall black fellow who was wearing a T-shirt that you didn't like what was written on it, so threw him out. Then you've got the what's the name of that group? They're the White Nationalist Party, or who are they, Kat?
NSM.
You had them there. They also weren't doing anything, but they were approached and thrown out by Nick and Arvi as well for doing nothing. But very clearly, you had this new organisation called the Lions of Zion, proud Zionists, marching around with their big emblems and logos all over their windsheeters and shirts, which I found very interesting because we're at a point now where we're trying to make sure we're correct with our grammar. And so we're trying not to say Jews. So we're just saying Zionist. And then all of a sudden, this Zionist group is there. And you've got Arvi and Nick working together. I mean, Arvi is a piece of shit. I can't stand him. I cannot stand him. He is a Zionist through and through. Nick Patterson, what are you doing with Arvi? We went and had a look over that and freeze-framed a lot of what happened in that gathering, both in Melbourne and Queensland. There seemed to be a lot of very familiar faces from other scenes. So whether it was actors, a lot of it's actors, this is a stage show that is going on in front of us. And I found it very concerning to see this sort of connection going on with Christians and Zions being Arvi. And then you had a preacher there as well saying Christian prayer. He then went into, I'm presuming it was Hebrew, with a Jewish prayer. And at the end of it, he said words to the effect that we must ensure, you know, Australia's foundations and principles and everything are upheld and not lost, that being of Christianity and Judaism. I'm sorry, but Australia wasn't based on Judaism. It was based on Christianity. So what are they trying to slip and slide in here? And look, Dave, as you said, hey?
I was going to say it's actually based on a penal colony, with no Christian foundation whatsoever as far as the Poms were concerned.
They say it is a reference.
Yeah.
No,
Judo. I know what they're talking about. Judeo-Christianity talks about the laws, and the laws were first arrived in the Torah, and then expanded when the new law came along. So it still holds true that the Christians still you don't basically kill your neighbour, you don't lust after your neighbour's wife, you don't honor God. So I get where they're coming from with regards to that.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the topic. Jackie, are you getting to speak? Have you had any word yet on whether you're allowed to speak to the Australian people?
Well, I'm waiting to hear from Matt, but I will certainly be going in with my megaphone. This is the thing. You said it before, Dave, and this is what I keep saying. This is not a revolution. This is an evolution. It's an evolution. We are evolving. We are ascending, whatever you want to call it. So if we are fully aware that there are always these false flags, etc., put out there for people to go along with this agenda to divide us, and then, Matt, what's his name? Matt Trelaw, who is the Workers' Alliance. Anyhow, and he's great with history and everything else. And I said to Matt, because he kept saying, well, we know through history. And I said, well, look, how about we look at it like this? Half of history's a bloody lie. And if we know what they continually do to divide the people, how about we change history and make this our evolution, our ascension? Let's not fall into the trap for the first time. And rather than being seen as white supremacists or, white only, how about for the first time in history, or it won't be the first time in history, but how about we stand up and welcome everybody, because humanity is one. We are all one. We all walk on the same dirt. And a very wise friend of mine said to me, picture humanity on one land mass, and we've got one government trying to control us. Now, the only difference is that we have got the seas between the land masses, the seas of deception, the governments, the authorities, or whomever it is, to keep us divided. It is the same strategy and, the same tactic that has been used for thousands of years. So when the fuck are we going to wake up?
That's it. On that note, can I just go to the flyers, because we're at did you want to say something on that, Dave?
Oh no, yeah, I just saw that, if they don't think that our country's full enough now with enough people and enough, maybe a few of us could just get together and all meet up on Norfolk Island, because that's actually Australia.
No, it's not, Dave. It's not.
Then we can say we're full, no more. You know what I mean? There'll be nothing around us except water. But anyway.
That's the inclusio. That's not right. Sorry,
okay. Let's go to the flyers then.
And the Mondays at Maggie's crew is calling for tools down. It's time to stand together. A corrupt and tyrannical government is crushing industries, stripping freedoms and silencing voices. So join us every Monday at the Governor's House in Sydney at 11 a.m. And on Mondays, don't forget Mondays at Maggie's, the Frank and Charles podcast. They will be hitting the streets this week. Mondays at Maggie's. And the Wollongong FUCCP parade will start on Sunday, September 7th at 8 a.m, leaving Helensburgh, parading through Thirroul, Bulli, Port Kembla, Shell Harbour, Dapto and finish at Stewart Park, Wollongong. There will be a barbecue from 1 p.m. with guest speakers. And there is a public protest rally, Stop E-Karen, no to digital ID, no biometric facial scanning, 1 p.m. on Saturday the 13th of September, Piermont Bay Park. And on Saturday, August 23rd at 12 p.m. at the Hyde Park Fountain, there will be a march against chemtrails. And on Saturday, the 22nd of November, there is an Abolish Abortion Australia conference. This will be featuring T. Russell Hunter. The Forest of the Fallen will be on tomorrow at Jack Evans Harbour, Tweed Heads at 8:30 a.m. And in Victoria, we have the following events. In Melbourne, gather at the Governor's every Saturday to end the tyranny. 10 a.m. every Saturday at the Governor Gates. And join the Justice of the People in Melbourne every Sunday at 4:30 p.m. for a remembrance at the Shrine of Remembrance. And the Freedom Unites Coast and Country Parades will now be held on September the 6th and 7th, which is a Saturday and Sunday. Jodie's inviting everyone to register their interest now. And a stand in the park, Albury Wodonga, are celebrating 5 years. So on Sunday, the 7th of September, they're hosting a barbecue. And Craig Cole of Leave Our Kids Alone is hosting a community engagement on Saturday, the 23rd of August, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Queen's Park, Mount Alexander Road, Moonee Ponds. End the sexualised indoctrination of your children. The Daily Prayer Space is held on X at 3 p.m. So whatever you're facing, come along and we can lift you up in prayer. Every day, 3 p.m. on X. Melissa 14623
Plenty on. There'll be Forest of the Fallen scoped out. There'll be one here in Wollongong sometime over the weekend, guys, either tomorrow if the sun does come out or the next day. But, yeah, I reckon everyone's keen to get outdoors and actually do something. So, yeah, there should be plenty going on.
So can I just say, with the stop mass immigration, as I said, the country can't sustain it. Immigrants need to be screened to make sure they do not have a criminal record. If they commit any violent or heinous crime, they need to be deported or locked up. If they are coming in here to become part of the people of the Commonwealth, they must, well, regardless, if they're coming here to live, they must bear oaths of true allegiance to this country. And nobody is entitled to benefits or assistance until you have worked here for 10, 15 or 20 years. Now, this is all government that is facilitating. It is not the fault of the new immigrants. Now, I just saw this thing with, was it at Maggie's, this thing about the Online Safety Act and the E-Commissioner?
Yeah.
Okay. Listen, I need people to get behind the High Court cases. This is the thing. We need a philanthropist to sponsor the cases, to help people like Dr. Beverly, Dr. Valerie and Rod Culleton, who are addressing, this is the thing, we're trying to do something to stop this bullshit for every single Australian. We volunteer our time and have been trying to do this for 5 years now, and we are slowly making progress. Interesting to see the Four Corners bullshit, but Rod Culleton is going for our, he's getting back our Section 92 because Clive Palmer, his case destroyed Section 92 movement across the country. Our freedom of speech, Dr. Beverly is addressing that, as she is Section 109, so the states can never, ever again put any mandate into the workplace forcing vaccination, you know, before you can keep working. Now, the Online Safety Act, that act has no head of power. No head of power to even be created. We've got a case written and it's about to be lodged to invalidate it prior to it being enlivened on the 10th of December 25, because it is the step into absolute draconian tyranny. It's all about getting all of our data. That's what it's all about.
They've already got it.
Well, it is. Yeah, no, it's not. It's you know.
Yeah. Yeah, but this will be more for you're going to have to show ID or scan something to, get shopping, get fuel, etc. It will. I'm telling you, this is the step into that.
It's a step to take a step further to control what you eat, where you drive, how many kilometres you drive, what you should, when you can fart, what colour undies you can wear. You know what I mean? Whether your grandma needs to accept maid, because she's too old, she's a burden, so she needs to be killed. And if you say no, you might just go down with her. This is what's coming with the digital ID, guys. This is where they're taking you to wrap up your whole life. Oh, they've had the heater on a bit here. We better turn no more heater. Oh, look at this guy's with a full fridge. We'll just turn the power off. You're smart meters, guys.
Yes,
You've
yes.
got to tell everything. No to everything. Do not consent.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. I think we need to stand up and recognise that we, the people, we are the Commonwealth, and we are the supreme and ultimate authority of our nation. So, and the government have reconstituted themselves as a corporation. So they are sitting there absent any unconstitutional lawful authority. This is the thing. This was the bullshit that Four Corners was covering and talking about pseudo. The only thing pseudo is the government.
Yeah, I know.
So,
they didn't cover that.
They didn't cover the Constitution either. Sorry,
they're not pseudo. They know exactly what they're doing, and that's why we're calling them out and we're telling them what their playbook is, satire or not. Have a good look at it, lads, because we know what you're up to.
Look, it's one thing after the other, isn't it? Yeah, they're harming our children. They're doing this climate change bullshit. There's no evidence of anything other than the harm they cause us. There's no such thing as too much CO2. They talk about the E-Safety Act with coming into play because too many children or young ones under the age of 16 are committing suicide. Do you think that might be because of the bullshit that you're teaching them as well about climate change? There are schools there that are getting kids to bring in pillowcases and to put into those pillowcases what they would take if there was an emergency, a climate emergency. It's like, what the fuck? Are you crazy? And then they've got this thing about, and then you've got the genders. They're confusing our children. Do you feel like being a boy or a girl? Or we can arrange that. We can take you off your parents. I mean, who the F's responsible? It's crazy.
No, I know. It is. It's really irresponsible. Look, we're being taken out in honour of the protest tomorrow at Hyde Park. It's called by Cliff Hedges, and it's called Skyline Deceivers. It's actually a pretty good song. Actually, all their songs are really good. So, Jackie, if you'd like to have some final words, and Dave, if you can wrap up and close the show, that'd be great.
Well, just for everybody really to wake up and acknowledge that we've been played for fools for thousands of years, pitted against each other when we've got one common enemy. Can you imagine the change in history or the evolution that would occur if every single race, religion, creed and colour stood together united as one shoulder to shoulder and said, we're standing together, we can see what's going on.
Yeah, that's
it. We are humanity as one united against a common enemy, running the government, destroying the world. Stand together united.
And if we can do that and unify our country, guys, I tell you what, it only takes us to have an extra long weekend, all right, and run it through a week, and everyone's shut down on the Friday arvo, and no one's going back till the next Friday arvo.
They can't do it, Dave. They can't do it because we can't afford to eat. This is the problem with that.
Listen, get yourself prepared. If you can't prepare yourself for a week with what's coming, you're fucked. You're gone, mate.
I'm saying to stop work. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If you cannot prepare for a week, to take a week off for everybody, when you get unification, that is, and get the whole country to stand down, that's how you will win this thing. Okay? Yeah, and I'm sorry, but if you can't organise yourself to have 1 week off, all right, and just not spend money, not go to work, not do anything that involves anything to do with corporate, okay, we can make a big stand, but it won't happen until we get the mass numbers.
But Dave, it's also that's also not going to change the bullshit legislation. See, this is how we look at it. We don't care who's running the world, who's above Bill Gates, who's pulling the strings on the government. You've got to look at how are they implementing the control mechanisms and causing us hardship. It is through legislation. It's through the bullshit legislation. So this is what we are trying to do, is to invalidate and remove the legislation that is harming the people, whether it's be freedom of speech, blooming movement, right to bodily autonomy, getting rid of these online safety acts, getting rid of bloody council, sorting out the tollways, Vic Roads, APRA, the Australian Medical Board. So we need plaintiffs and we need support for our cases. So please contact Daryl O'Brien or Darren Dixon at info@knowyourrightsgroup.com.au if you are interested in being a plaintiff. And please, we need financial support because this is, going through the courts costs money. We just need somebody to fund the cases. We don't ask money for ourselves. It's just to get the money in. It's $4,000 to file. And if you've got to work your way up through the lower courts, there's a lot of money involved with it. We're up to, I think, 60 or 70,000 with Dr. Beverly alone. And Dr. Valerie's got some, and we're still short with that. So these people putting their lives on the line for all Australians, everything we do will affect all Australians. You understand? We're going to remove sections of the Health Act, the Public Health and Wellbeing Act. That will automatically, because it's in the High Court, knock out the same bullshit across the country. It's the same with Section 92 movement. Every Australian's got the right to move across this country freely. It's the same with the right to bodily autonomy. We will knock out the Online Safety Act because it's unconstitutional. So there goes that mechanism of control. So we're always talking about it. We've got the remedy. The other remedy is in mass. Sign the Solemn League and Covenant of the people of the Commonwealth. And this is also for people of honour and conscience to read through it and understand we are against or defending ourselves against an attack from an unconstitutional government guilty of fraud, theft and treason against the people of the Commonwealth. They've stolen all our wealth and siphoned it off. The depth of the corruption and the crimes they are guilty of is way too much for many people to even comprehend. But I think just look at one of the latest ones. They forced Australians into a medical experiment and gagged doctors. Doctors were not allowed to tell them of the risks. Or they were suspended.
Jackie, you're always a firestorm and we love having you on. So thank you very much. Guys, we're going out to Cliff Edge and don't forget the protest at Hyde Park tomorrow.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. We up in the sky, man. They think we're blind, but the truth is clear. Just open your mind. Yeah. High above the clouds, pilots on the scene. Government-funded dreams, they fly machines. Spraying lines of poison like it's just a game. Chemtrails drifting down, but who's to blame? Not contrails, no, play a chemical display. They're locking us down like it's some sick ballet. Silent screams in the air, we're all left to choke. A toxic mix falling, and it's no joke. Hey, we're not your guinea pigs. We're not your rats. Stop the experiments, we've had enough of that. You wanna test the poison, then step to the line. Let the 1% be first, let's see if they survive. Let's see survive. We're fed the lies, let the truth